And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, affectionately known throughout the United States for the last 38 years as the Money Lady. And as always, I remain committed to you, my viewers, and your families to empowering you with education on financial matters. And I'm welcoming again, for those of you that are new followers, my co-host, Robert Hughes, MBA, and he is joining me again to just take us to a new level for the days ahead. He brings a wealth of experience in the field of insurance and pre-needs and funerals and all those things that are so necessary as we move through the life cycle called living. Today's guest is an extraordinary man, and I'm honored to have him on for the next hour. You want to sit down and listen to his story and begin to learn about the field that we're in as well as insurance brokers. His name is Alex Abuyuan, and again, he has been in the industry for many, many years. His background is powerful and impressive, and we're going to be talking about his world and the world of insurance. So I invite you to sit down and listen. I really mean it. This guy is incredible. I mean, he wouldn't be on my show otherwise. But without further ado, let me go on and introduce you to him. And again, this show will be co-hosted by Robert Hughes, MBA, forever. He's a part of my team now, and I'm delighted to have him. How are you, sir?
Doing very well, Michelle.
Excellent, 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 excellent. Where do we begin? Mr. Hughes, where do we begin with this man?
Well, we'd like to hear his stories first. Tell us about, and he's a godly man as well.
I was born in Morocco on a Navy base, so that's why I tell people I'm African American. I was actually born in Africa. People don't believe me after a while, you know, but anyway. But I grew up in the military. My dad was in the Navy, and he retired from the Navy. And being that this is Veterans Day, you know, it's a special day for someone like my father, and who's still around, thank God. And then he encouraged me to go to the Air Force Academy. One of the reasons was that it was a full scholarship.
Okay.
And it was my opportunity also to really serve my country as well. And I really loved my time there. I loved the Air Force. I loved my 5 years I served in it, and 3 years thereafter in the reserves. But I felt the need to kind of branch out and maybe find my own path in a way. And you know, it just, I became a defense contractor, worked for the government here at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for a number of years. And I just had that entrepreneur in me that wanted to just jump out and kind of be independent. And it was at that time that I was introduced to the Alliance, the marketing company that helped me start my own company, the ABN Financial Group, back in December 1999.
My goodness.
Yeah. So from there, it was the rest is history. I got involved in the insurance business and no longer had to have a traditional job anymore, and building my own company. And really it's been impactful in terms of touching other lives and helping not only clients get the coverage they're looking for, but also helping agents understand and experience the benefit of being an independent life insurance agent.
That's amazing. So this organization that you've been involved in since 1999, is that an insurance brokering agency?
What they call it is an independent marketing organization. The Alliance was really started in 2002. I started my association with Andy Albright, the president and CEO of the company, back in 1993 in another business venture I was involved in.
Okay.
And then got my business kicked off in 2002, the ABN Financial Group, and through the guidance and mentorship of Andy Albright has grown our business to $1 million plus business every year. And,
that's amazing.
That's about 4 or 5 million a year, and growing right now. So I'm appreciative for the opportunity Andy Albright gave me to get involved in this awesome industry.
Do you think that mentorship is important, like you're being involved with the CEO and the founder of this organization?
Oh, absolutely. I think the minute that you don't think you need mentorship is the minute that you go backwards in life. I look at mentorship in all aspects of life, whether it's my spiritual life, seeking spiritual mentors to help guide me and help me become a better person. I think that's also true in my financial life and my business life, being around people who are way better than me. Because I know that I don't know everything. And I think the more that I think I know, the more I find out, the less I know, right? Like when I got my master's in economics, the more I learned about economics, the more I realized what hadn't been explored or discovered in economics. And imagine going to the PhD level, you really find out what people don't know. And but in the financial services business and in just success in general, I think it's important to always have a mentor. I think you can't figure it out on your own all the time. And it's just like when I pray, I always pray for help because I don't know it all. And as they say in the Bible, a wise man has many counselors. So I seek wise counsel for all parts of my life.
I guess from my vantage point, and Mr. Hughes, you're welcome to
Oh, I will.
you're welcome to chime in because it's just that important. I think that his story is so powerful and it's so very American. It really is. To be born in Morocco, which is a fascinating country on its own, beyond argan oil. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating country. But to have had the background and the military background and then the economics, and of course, I'm an economist as well. And no, we don't know anything. That's what we know. We don't know much of anything. But to see where you are today and the emphasis on mentorship. You had some questions?
You mentioned something that kind of touched me, and that was your point regarding impacting and growing other agents. Why is that so important?
Well, here's probably the biggest reason and the biggest benefit to me of being in this awesome business is having the independence of running my own schedule and not having to go into an office, clocking in and clocking out. And that has allowed me to spend the most important formative years with my children. I have 5 kids. My oldest, 18, first year in college, and my youngest, who was 11 years old. And over the past 15 years I've been in this business, I've been able to spend time with them, important time with them, going to their games, supporting them in activities where otherwise, if I did the traditional, 8 to 5 or 8 to 8 job every week, I wouldn't have those opportunities. So really, when I look at helping other agents achieve those same benefits, here's what I really think my mission is. I think why God put me on this earth is to find those other people that want to be independent, to want to control their lives, and to be able to build the family unit back together. Because I think all too often we have people that are chasing the dollar bill to the forsaking of their children. And I see this business as a tremendous opportunity to bring husbands and wives home to be with their children and mentor their kids. Or, single parents that need to spend more time with their kids. This is a great opportunity in this business to be able to do that. And so I think by my little corner of the world, by the things I do to help agents achieve that success, underlying all that is helping them become, I believe, better fathers and mothers to their children because they're able to spend more time with them. So that's what drives me.
But one of the things I've noticed in insurance is that you're doing something to help people.
Absolutely.
What is your feeling in that area? Because many products provide a need, even cereal, even toothpaste. But there's something about insurance that makes a difference in folks' lives. How do you feel about that?
I think all you have to do is ask someone whose spouse has passed away and the insurance agent delivered a death benefit check for $500,000, $200,000, heck, $25,000. And you ask them and they'll say, thank God that insurance agent helped me decide what was best for my family. And just recently, I had a woman here in Dayton, in fact. One of my first clients I ever put on the books back in 2001, her husband just passed away earlier this year, and the benefit did exactly what it was supposed to do, which was to pay off her mortgage. And now she's able to live in her house mortgage-free. And to me, the ultimate, I think, act of love is to be able to provide for your families after you've gone. kind of like what Jesus did after he left. He left us the Holy Spirit, right? And he left us provisions to be able to continue on. I look at that same analogy here, that I think the ultimate love that I would have for my family is to provide them income protection, mortgage protection, all manner of life insurance to be able to provide for them after the Lord takes me, whenever that might be.
Yes.
And here's the way I look at it. I look at it as if the Lord was going to take me tomorrow, how would my family be provided for? And to me, I tell my family that I love them every time I pay that monthly premium check. When I write that check out or when it's drafted from my account, it's saying, I love you. And that's, I think, the ultimate form of providing for your family and telling them that you love them.
But isn't this a stewardship principle as well?
Totally. Stewardship. Absolutely. I think that that the money that's provided us is a blessing from above. And I think that God's our source for all things.
Yes,
Whether for me in this business, for someone in their job, or whatever, when you think about the source of that income and where it's coming from, here's what I believe. I believe that we are now held responsible and accountable for the stewardship of what God has given us. And what we are blessed in small things, we'll be blessed in great things. And I think a great thing and not a small thing is being able to provide for your family. So that's, again, one of the ultimate ways of being a good steward of your money that God provided.
I think this is very powerful. This points to kind of what you've been talking about over the years around the issue of men and their families and stewardship.
Absolutely. We
Powerful.
have responsibility because God gave us Jesus, who died for us so we might have eternal life. And you translate that to the world, that we might have comforts and we would believe in him. We ascend, but we also, as mortal beings, we're the head of our households. So we have to love our families as Jesus, as Christ, loved the church.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we look at it from that point of view. We have an awesome responsibility to make sure that, I like to use the term, that our families have some heaven on earth after we're gone.
That's right. Absolutely.
And I have to believe when you bring that check, I mean, that's been my experience.
Yes, absolutely.
When you bring that nice, fat, tax-free check, tax-free to that widow or widower and say, thank you.
Right, absolutely.
It's the just how people respond to that.
Absolutely.
Is kept me in the business for 30-something years.
Yeah.
I tell people, and I won't back away, the insurance industry is, in my estimation, the closest you're ever going to get to heaven on earth. Everybody needs insurance, whether they acknowledge it or not. They do, unless you're going to pass the hat at your demise, unless you're going to pass the hat.
Pass the hat or have some fish dinners.
Or have some fish dinners or something, you're going to need insurance. And
Absolutely.
so, and I say this to single women as well, single mothers, because people die at all ages.
In fact, there's a statistic that 4 in 10 households with children under the age of 18 are run by either single mothers or mothers that are the sole breadwinner in the family. And with that, when you take the average of all those that actually own insurance of women, they only own about 69% of what men own.
That is not
right,
good.
and they are the sole breadwinners of their families, and so that's an area that I think we need to educate single women who are the sole breadwinners for their families, to educate them on the benefits and the value of life insurance, because that's a tremendous gap I think in the market right now, is that female breadwinner for the family.
And I think a lot of it has to do with education and them not really understanding that life insurance for children is so cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Absolutely.
cheap.
Yeah.
And then understanding their role as sole providers, which
Yeah.
is that if you do die, and quite a few young women do die from all manner of things, that who's going to be responsible for those children?
Right.
And again, it's a vehicle. I've had this argument over the years with people that say, Alex, that, oh, I don't need insurance. I have money in the bank. And I was like, are you serious? Do you really think you have enough money in the bank to cover those kinds of situations?
Absolutely. It's interesting. Another statistic is that if you ask the average person on the street how much they think it would cost for life insurance, it's typically 3 times. They think it's 3 times more than what it actually is. So that's the education that we need to get out there. It's actually, like you said, it's way cheaper than what most people feel. And so I think we need to do our jobs as agents is to get that information out there, to reach out to people, to let them know that they can provide, for their families. And when you look at one of the most important components of providing for your family is, do you want your child to get a head start in life with a college education? And anymore today, when you look at a good school, what is a good school? Well, man, you're probably not looking today. Maybe it's $20,000 to $40,000 a year.
Easy.
And then if you project that maybe 10, 15 years from now, it's probably not even out of the question for it to be on the order of $50,000 to $100,000 a year.
Right.
Maybe 20 years from now. So the average family who's just have young children, babies right now, if they're not going to be around, they better do something about it.
Right.
Or else, now certainly they could take the other way out, which I've heard. It's the similar story of a man and a woman, the husband and wife, and I'll sit down with them, talk to them about life insurance. And the husband will say, well, she'll just get married to someone anyway. And I just want to go, seriously?
Yeah, really?
It's that mentality.
Where is your head?
Where is your head? Exactly.
And then the same thing with parents that think, well, my kids will be all right, they'll just get federal loans. And if you look out there with student loans, you can't declare bankruptcy and get out of student loans.
No,
In
you
fact,
can't.
You pass away and you'll be at the gates of heaven. They'll say, have you paid your student loans yet? I mean, that will always follow you. And kids are getting saddled with $50,000, $60,000 student loans that they got to pay, and the way the job situation is. I know I don't want my kids to ever go through that.
No.
Never. Not if you love them. I just think that is so. But life insurance also has living benefits as well. It's not just about you dying.
Absolutely.
They're depending upon, why don't you share your thoughts on that?
There's so many great, what we call riders onto insurance policies. What most people don't realize that you can add a disability rider, for example. So if they should become disabled, the insurance company would pay their mortgage payment for them for a period of up to 2 years
That's
per
amazing.
incident. It's incredible.
I think that's phenomenal.
There are
That's a
policies
great
out.
bridge.
It is a great
It
bridge.
is.
Can you imagine not being able to work and having that mortgage payment covered? Talk about peace of mind. To
Yes.
know that they're not going to get foreclosed on. So that's one important additional benefit. We have critical illness benefits, so that if the person becomes critically ill from a heart attack, stroke, cancer, and mental illness, they're able to get part of their death benefit advanced to them on a monthly basis, so they can help them again bridge the gap over any type of critical illness situation.
That's awesome.
It is.
That is.
Absolutely.
That is
And then
awesome.
for long-term care concerns, most people are just, they can't justify, or they've got so many burdens financially, they can't think about a separate long-term policy. So we have companies that when someone gets to be of that long-term care age where they need to access money for long-term care style benefits, they could also take that out of their life insurance. So really the life insurance is not just a death benefit. You can write it in such a way that there are tremendous living benefits that go along with it, so that you have peace of mind whether you die or whether you don't.
Right.
So you kind of cover both sides of the coin. And then the other rider that I'm most excited about is the return of premium rider. So talk about hedging your bet, where if you don't die at the end of 30 years, 20 years, the insurance company will give you back all your premiums that you paid. So in essence, you covered your family for free. And, if nothing ever happened to you, then you get a big fat check at the end of that period of time. And oh, by the way, you don't have to pay taxes on that return of premium check.
that
Woo! They're fired up.
yes, that is extremely impressive. And I think that, again, people don't know. That's why we do the power of money. I have found over the last 3 decades as an insurance and financial professional that the majority of people just simply don't know, because if they knew, who wouldn't do this?
Right, exactly.
I mean, really, who
it's
wouldn't?
education,
It
isn't
is
it?
education.
Yeah.
The other thing, and this is what I find so exciting, is this industry is not age limited. You can have a young person. They don't have to go to college.
That's right.
And I'm going to be honest with you, as much as I respect the institution of education and advanced degrees, the reality is that, Alex, if I had started selling insurance at 18 years old,
right,
I probably would have been a rich woman by 30.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Absolutely.
And then if I wanted to go to college or I wanted to do something else, I could have. But no one told us about the opportunities in this industry. I fell into it working for a major insurance company in their investment division and saw the kind of money that our salesmen were. And we were making money, but they were making 3 times more money than we were making selling insurance. And I was like, what is this? And they were like, insurance sales. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And it just opened up my eyes, and I've never looked back.
Not only is there the satisfaction of making a lot of money, but it's satisfying to know that you help somebody. And that's a concept of ministry. You're making a difference.
Absolutely.
In someone's life.
Absolutely. I feel like I did my job, and I serve my Father in heaven when I go out there and I help families get covered. I help agents help families get covered. It kind of just keeps giving back, and I think the blessings definitely abound in that regard. What's really cool about this business too is that you don't have to risk, at least in what we do and in my company, you don't have to risk quitting your job and seeing if this is going to work.
Right.
Like, I started part-time. I was making about $150,000 as an executive recruiter, working about 70 hours a week. Mm-hmm. And I was able to start this part-time in January 2000. By the end of my 8th week in the business, I was cash flowing part-time about $2,000 to $2,500 a week, which then gave me an idea that maybe I can make a run at this. By the end of March, my wife let me quit my job.
Okay.
and I actually left my job with mixed emotions, happiness and joy. Okay.
Happiness and joy.
And it was the best move I've ever made, but I didn't have to risk my financial position and providing for my family because I was able to do this on a part-time basis.
Right.
And I think that's the advantage of getting involved in a business like this, is that no matter where you are education-wise, this is the equalizer because you get paid on what you do, not who you know, and not whether you're kissing your boss's butt or anything. Like if I could be so.
No, you can be quite direct because many people do kiss.
Absolutely, man. And exactly. And we don't have to do that. It's what you do. And I always wanted not to be in that good old boy club. See, because every time in the corporate world that I was in, there was this good old boy club that I knew I wasn't a part of.
Right.
And it's like, how am I going to make it? And so when I got into this business, it was the ultimate equalizer because we've been able to produce 6- and 7-figure earners that had a GED from high school. They didn't have advanced degrees. In fact, they might have been a college dropout. It didn't matter. What mattered was they were teachable and coachable, that they had a work ethic that they wanted to provide for themselves and for their families, and that they were people of integrity that we could trust to go out there and serve families. And if you can combine those 3 things, we can help someone make it in this industry and make a fantastic life for themselves and their family. And the most important thing is that they buy their life back.
Yes.
And they can give their time to other things, not just to making money, but to their spiritual concerns, being able to serve their churches better, be able to serve their families better, those types of things.
Right. What do you think is the ideal candidate for this industry from your experience?
I think anybody that's got a heart to serve. I
My
don't care
goodness.
how old they are. In fact, there ain't no age discrimination here. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you what, with the aging of the baby boomer generation, there's more 50-year-olds that are going out there finding a new job because they got laid off because they had a 20-year-old that could replace their job for like half or 1/3 the cost of employing them. And they're going out there with a resume, and I knew this from when I was in the recruiting industry. There is age discrimination out there.
I know that's true.
People don't want to say anything, but there is. And all you have to do is talk to any 50-year-old with their resume. In fact, I remember back when I was a recruiter, I'd have to tell them, take your master's degree off there, take all that experience off there, dumb it down so it doesn't look like you have all this, just so you can get in the door for an interview, because it's prevalent. Well, I'll tell you what, in my company and the insurance industry in general, there ain't no age discrimination.
You're right, if you're just willing to work hard.
We only discriminate against stupidity and ignorance.
Right.
Okay?
But isn't there a benefit sometime in having a more mature person on your team?
Amen. There is. There's what comes with age is an advantage in our business because, again, I talk about the aging of the baby boomer generation. That's the hot market right now in the insurance industry, are people that are realizing their mortality, and they need to sit down with someone that is like them, that looks like them and is their age group, that they can have comfort level with, that they can counsel them on their insurance needs. So people that are senior people are awesome in this business, as well as the younger folks too. I also have 18 or 19 or 20-year-olds that get worried that, well, Alex, I don't have the maturity to be able to sit down with someone and counsel. I tell them, bro, I can help you establish the credibility with the client, because really the client just needs to know you care about them.
Right.
Like talking to them like they're your own grandmother or grandfather. They just need that genuineness of spirit in order to engender trust. And then when you can have the access to the vast educational resources that we have, to the credibility of the companies that we offer, then you're okay there. So it kind of actually works on both ends of the spectrum.
Well, let me ask you this question, because there is major consumer confusion as to what a captive agent is, as opposed to someone like yourself who represents many companies. Can you clarify that for our viewers?
Okay, absolutely. When you say captive, I think of an agent in a
That's
cage.
a true statement, by the way.
Actually, for the insurance professional out there, there's some that choose to go the route of being under a company. Like, for example, you have companies out there that employ agents that sell their brand of life insurance only. And while for many agents that might be a career path that they choose, the unfortunate thing about it is that they can only offer that company's products. And some companies don't offer, for example, guaranteed issue life insurance. In other words, if someone has AIDS or dealing with chemotherapy or something that would be totally uninsurable with more of the traditional companies that these career agents, captive agents represent, we're able, because we're brokers, to represent a variety of companies that will be able to help those people that have such sicknesses that they can't get insured by the traditional captive agent type companies.
Yes.
So that's the advantage. It's like when you go to anybody who represents a variety of different products, you're able to be served because their best interest is yours, because they can do the shopping for you. They can look among the different companies and find the best product. Now, what most consumers don't understand is the best product is not necessarily the cheaper product, because what they'll find out through their physical condition and health, that they can't qualify for that cheap product. Right. And so we're able to get them into a product that fits their health situation for a price that's affordable. So that's really kind of the issue, is that it's not always the cheapest product because they can't qualify.
Right.
And one of the most important things that we do as brokers is we have all the gamut of different major companies that have been around for hundreds of years, and we can get them into products where they don't have to do a physical exam. In fact, people that go through physical exams, the blood and urine testing with our carriers and with other carriers, we only have about a 55% placement rate. In other words, 55% get approved, 45% don't. And that is a big number.
That's a big number.
Whereas the products that don't require blood and urine testing, we have about an 85% approval rate. And that's the advantage of working with brokers like us, is we can guide people into those companies where they don't have to get stuck by a needle, they don't have to pee in a cup, they don't have to publicize their health conditions, because once they get tested, once the insurance industry knows where they qualify health-wise, then it gets recorded on this with this company called the Medical Insurance Board, MIB. And the MIB has a database of everyone that's ever applied for insurance, and then that becomes a mark on you if you get declined based on blood and urine testing. So I'm very much of a believer that why let them know everything about your blood and urine? Why not go simplified issue so that you can have a higher percentage chance of getting the policy you're looking for without exposing your health to be forever recorded at the MIB?
I think that's a very, very, very good point. You've talked about that before.
Yes, and I want to delve in this a little further because as humans, we go through this life cycle, such as spring, summer, fall, and winter. And each season have different needs. And if we look at the spring season, relating that to young people in college, just out of college, what are the products or what are the issues that they need to deal with as they use life insurance as part of their financial planning?
That's a great question, Bob. When you're young, that's probably, you have two things working against you. The fact that you think you're going to live forever, right? The thing working for you is that that's the cheapest rate you'll ever pay for life insurance. You will never find a cheaper rate than when you're young and presumably healthier. You know, because when you go through the seasons in life, sometimes our health doesn't maintain, you know, and we have difficulties with being able to maintain our health. But when you're young and healthy, that, in my opinion, should be the time that you should start investing your peace of mind dollars into life insurance vehicles. And maybe it's not so much a term product that only lasts 10, 20, 30 years, okay? But when you're young, maybe it's better to get into a policy that lasts your entire lifetime called Universal Life, being able to put cash value into a product that grows over time, tax-free, where you can access that money, the cash value in a life insurance, tax-free, and being able to use that in retirement. So you have the power of compounding, you know, getting back into our economics background. You got the power of compounding interest that grows in your account so that by the time you retire, you'll be able to have powerful money, in other words, tax-free income. And books like Tax-Free Retirement by Patrick Kelly is a great book that talks about tax-free retirement. And I encourage all younger people to look at those opportunities because not only are they able to get life insurance that will cover their family's needs for the rest of their life, but they'll also be able to have the advantage of putting money away that they can access later in retirement. And these are vehicles that are not investment vehicles. For example, variable universal life, which allows part of that cash to be invested in securities products or mutual funds. I'm talking fixed index, safe vehicles where the client will never lose their money. And it's, in my opinion, better than a savings account because they're earning an interest rate on it. It will always grow. They'll never lose it. And by the time they get to the end of their life, they can always depend on it. Whether the end of their life is when they're 25, where it provides insurance for their families, or the end of their life is down the road after they retire, and then again, it provide insurance, but also a retirement planning benefit. I'm a big believer in that. And whether you're young, or whether you're older, middle age, I think those are powerful vehicles still. But when you're young, you have the power of time and compounding to your advantage.
Yes, you do.
And the children comes into play with young people too.
Absolutely.
What is your feeling as to young parents investing in insurance for their toddlers?
I think that is one of the best things they can do for their children. In fact, that's what I did for my 5 kids. They have a universal life policy. As soon as I understood the value of universal life, I said, I am going to get these on each one of my 5 children because I want to get them started in life. In fact, when I ran the scenarios, and we can get them into a universal life policy, you know, $50,000 for a child for $25 a month, and then that money can compound. And then when the child takes that policy over, just put a little bit more into it, a little bit more into it to grow that cash. But what you started them with is a vehicle that they can use in their retirement planning. And it's like, people think, well, I don't want to profit from the death of my child. It's like, man, I don't think of it like that. I think of it as the opportunity to get your children started with the proper stewardship of their money.
Right.
Your children only learn by the example that you give them as parents, right? And I think that a great example is start them off with a great life insurance policy that will serve them the rest of their lives, but at the same time be able to use it as a retirement planning vehicle as well. I think that's the best time is when they're born.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that that's a major missed opportunity because
Yes.
many people, and I've had them say to me, why do you advocate insurance on children? And I said, because number one, they may need it.
Right.
Because not death, but uninsurability, because children do get sick.
Absolutely.
And if a child gets sick and it's a chronic condition, they will find themselves unable to get insurance.
Absolutely.
What amazes me, for a small child, you can get a $30,000 life insurance policy that child will have for life for less than a six-pack of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
That's just.
What?
Absolutely.
I know.
People have no idea. Again, this is why programs like this are awesome.
Right.
To get the education out there. I think any mother out there that cares about their children should be one of the first things you should think about is how can I provide this benefit for my child.
And the unfortunate thing in urban America, not just here in Ohio, but around the country, too many of our children are being mowed down by stray bullets. Wrong places, wrong times, all of that. And unfortunately, when that happens, it comes back to mom and daddy's door or the grandmama and granddaddy's door. And if, as a family, we're not prepared, society has to deal with it. And society cannot, based on cutbacks in our government spending at all levels. So as parents, we have a responsibility to deal with that and to recognize some of the negative social ills that impact us all.
Absolutely. That is a very important point you make, Bob, is the fact that it's the thing you don't want to think about is the thing you have to think about.
Right.
I've been to a child's funeral. I've seen that short casket.
Oh.
I've been in that situation where, and in fact, my daughter, Isabel, went through a serious medical condition that she's now coming out of. And in my mind, I'm thinking, Lord have mercy. Lord, she's yours to give. You gave that blessing to me. She's also yours to take, right? I'm only her steward here, her foster parent, so to speak, because she was yours originally. But in my prayer, I can't imagine thinking, what if the Lord takes her? Now what am I going to do if I don't have any life insurance on her to be able to give her the best proper burial for her, and having to pass the hat around just to, I don't even want to think about that.
Uncomfortable.
It is. But we have to think about it. We have to provide for that before it happens. We pray that it doesn't happen. Look, if we knew the date of our death, hey, we buy insurance right before we pass away.
Exactly.
And that's what I ask people. When they say they want to think about it, when they want to think about life insurance, I tell them, okay, well, do me a favor. What's that, Alex? Call me about a week to 2 weeks prior to you dying, and then I'll be able to write a policy on you. And they'll say, well, I can't do that. Exactly.
Right.
That's why I'm here, because you can't do that. I can't do that.
Right.
The way that I try to put people in the right frame of mind when it comes to life insurance, particularly agents, like the frame of mind for someone purchasing life insurance is, if I die tomorrow, if the car jumps the median by a drunk driver and hits me head on, and I'm no longer here, how am I going to provide for my family? And this is how I coach my agents. Pretend, Mr. Agent, that you had the gift of prophecy. You knew when that person was going to pass away. And every person you sat down with, pretend like you know they're going to die Monday morning, the next Monday morning at 9 a.m. But if you told them that they had to buy life insurance because you knew when he was going to die, not that he would believe you, but he would die right then and there if you told him. So your job is to take care of them because you know they're going to pass away Monday at 9 a.m. of a heart attack. So now, Mr. Agent, are you going to take your job serious? Because I believe that's the seriousness at which we should approach our jobs, and I call it vocation. Our vocation to go out there and cover and help families, that we should approach it with that seriousness when we're talking to someone. That to think about it is just delaying tragedy. And that we shouldn't take a think about it from a client because we're there to help them.
Right.
You know, and we're probably in a better position because we offer 14 different carriers.
Right.
So we know we can get them into a very affordable program and a program that will take them. So sitting across from someone, we're empowered, but it comes down to thinking, how much do I really care about this person? It's not about making money.
Right.
It's about a vocation
Right.
to help families and cover them out there.
It gets back to the spiritual concept. If we're helping enough people and we're blessing enough people, our blessings will come back tenfold.
Amen. Absolutely.
But it starts with the heart.
It does start with the heart.
Starts with the heart.
Right.
Now let's take this a step further as we move into our summer years. Now we have the kids, we have a mortgage, and we have a job at a 500, corporate 500.
Yeah, Fortune 500.
Fortune 500
yeah,
company.
Fortune 500. Mm-hmm.
As the kids say, what's up with that? How do we make sure we don't down a sewer someplace?
Absolutely. This is where term insurance fits the bill right there, because you'll have your children for a period of time, 18 years, right, from when they're born to when they go off to college, and then after that, and then some people tell me after they even been out there, they come back home. So I don't know. Actually, I wouldn't mind it, but anyway. Term insurance is a great product because you can buy a large amount of insurance for very minimal dollars, and it covers a period of time, 10, 20, 30 years. So when you're at your peak insurance need, which is when you have children, dependents that are young, and you're looking for a future for them in college, you have a mortgage that you haven't paid off yet, right? And you have maybe your spouse isn't making as much money as you as the husband. You have to provide for her needs and her retirement needs down the road, you know, because maybe she's not able to get into a big paying job that you had,
Right.
Before you passed away. That's when term insurance works perfect, because you can get a large amount for little money, and it covers the needs where you're at the greatest, as you mentioned, in the summer of your life. And I think it's a perfect opportunity, and you can get some tremendous value out there for that type of situation.
How do you advise business people, let's say corporate people, who would tell you, Alex, I got $500,000 on my job. I don't need any more insurance. My company's going to take care of me.
Wow. When someone says that, I look at them and I go, so how many times have you been laid off since this job? Most people say, well, I've been laid off 1, 2, 3 times, even multiple times. So the typical person has been laid off before. If you have a bigwig who thinks, that life's good and they've been at that company for years and years and years, when they say that the company's going to take care of them, it's like, man, look around.
Yes.
Do you see what companies are doing? They're bringing benefits back. They're cutting down on benefits, particularly healthcare benefits. And they're just waiting for an opportunity to replace you for half what it costs to employ you. Because your value to the company is only so much. It's only as much as they're paying you to keep you. And unless you're on the fast track of moving up in a company where they have you move into different locations as they try to groom you, if you're not the one being groomed, then you're the one that's kind of waiting for that time when it's your time to go. And once your time to go out of the company, then you don't have those benefits at the job. I always tell people that say, well, I've got life insurance on my job. It's like, bro, you don't have life insurance. The company owns your life insurance policy.
Right.
The typical scenario I like to talk to them about is if they get sick and they can no longer work, their job benefits go away. And all of a sudden they're sick, so now they can't qualify for inexpensive life insurance. And it's insanity to me to not provide independent of the job, to have your own independent plan of insurance that goes whether you're working for that company or not. Then I get the person that says, well, I already got $500,000 in insurance. Okay, great. Let's start spending that money. So Joe, you die tomorrow. How many children do you have? Oh, I've got 3 kids. Okay, how old are they? Oh, they're 7, 9, and 11. Okay, great. So we're looking at college down the road. So do you want to send them to a good college, a great college, or a mediocre college just so they could say they have a piece of paper that has a degree? Well, I want to send them to a great college. Okay, what would you say a great college is? University of Dayton, Duke, Wright State University, or mom and pop online college. Well, University of Dayton, Duke University, Notre Dame. Okay, do you know that that's $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, right? Well, yeah. Okay, so to project 10 years from now, do you think college costs can be cheaper or going to be more expensive? Well, probably more expensive. Okay, so let's just say good school, let's say 10 years, 15 years from now, maybe it's $70,000 a year, right? Do you want your kids to have student loans? Well, no, I don't want to saddle them with debt when they get their career started. Okay, great. So you've got 3 children. So let's multiply 1 child times 4 years times $70,000 a year. Okay, so that's what? $280,000 a year times 3. So let's say round up 3. So you're talking over $1 million.
Yeah.
Just for college expenses. Now, since you're making all this money, what is your mortgage? Well, my mortgage is $300,000. And they usually kind of puff up. My word is $300,000. You see this house, multiple rooms, it's big,
Yeah.
And I go, okay, great. So do you want your wife to keep paying that $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month mortgage payment? Well, no. So we've got $1 million for college education. You're going to pay the house off, so that's another $400,000. Okay, and you have, how much was your life insurance policy? So when I do the math, man, oh, by the way, does your wife work out of the home or in the home? Well, she works in the home. She doesn't have to have a job anymore because I make so much money. I go, okay, so how soon do you think she could replace your income to keep the house going, to keep her lifestyle going? Well, she doesn't have my MBA. She doesn't have my experience. She had been out of the job force since we started having kids, so she's been out of the job force for 10 years. Okay, so here's the rule of thumb. How much do you make? Oh, I make $300,000 a year. Awesome. Okay, so to keep her lifestyle going at that income level, this very simple math. I like to be a very simple guy. I'm a simple guy. I like to just talk in simple terms. So to provide her an income for the rest of her life at your $300,000 a year, assuming that you get a 5% return on investment, all you have to do is divide $300,000 by 5%, and that's how much of a nest egg you need for her to put into an income-producing vehicle, an investment that'll provide her 5% return. So here's kind of a rule of thumb. If someone's making $50,000, or if someone's making $25,000, they need $500,000 of life insurance in order to leave behind $500,000. They can earn 5% interest that'll provide $25,000 a year. Right?
Right.
So if that's the multiple, this person needs $300,000. How much nest egg do they need to leave their wife? But Alex, they're going to have their house paid off. They're going to already have their kids. Okay, so is she going to eat ramen noodles to live? What do you want to give her?
Right, exactly.
Because I'm sure you don't expect her to go out there and get a $300,000 job. And that $500,000, Bob, I'm sorry to say, is not going to go very far based on his high standard of living, So it's like wake up and smell the coffee, right? Because it comes down to, how do I provide for my kids' college? What kind of mortgage and debt do I need to pay off so my spouse won't have to worry about debt? And how much income do I want to give her? Okay, you take those needs, especially the ongoing need, divided by 5%, and you got how much life insurance you need.
That is a very powerful illustration that you gave, and truthfully, I'm very familiar with it because I like those large policies. Because most people, even what we call middle income people, are not prepared for the realities of death.
Absolutely.
They're just not, and particularly men, because if their wives are stay-at-home wives, as you know yourself, the transition can be devastating. But I want to take a pause because our time is winding up. I would like everybody, can you zoom in on that for me, Ben, so I can show this magazine if he's back in yet? I hope he is. Anyway, there it is. This is our guest today. He's on the cover of the official newsletter of the National Agents Alliance, and with he and his beautiful wife talking about his story. He is our guest. He has a multi-million-dollar agency. He has agents all throughout the United States. He trains them. He inspires them. He brings a story that is workable for so many, many people. Alex Abuyuan, and he is our guest today. And in the remaining minutes that we have left, I'd like to wrap up with a couple of final questions, how people can reach you if they're interested in insurance, as well as becoming agents. I mean, listen, you take the exam. If you're in the state of Ohio, wherever this show is airing, you take the exam, you go through all of the necessary requirements for licensing, and you become a licensed insurance agent. That's step one, but that opens up the door to a life. It really is, and as I share with viewers and listeners, this has been a very good life for me. The insurance brokering has enabled me to send my children to private schools, to college. It's enabled me to have an amazing lifestyle as a human being in America. Forget the African American and forget the female. I'm just telling you, insurance has been powerful, and Mr. Abuyuan has been one of the key leaders in the industry in terms of training agents for success. So let's switch back over to you and tell us how can people reach you?
Well, I have a website, and the website is abnfinancial.com.
Okay.
A is an apple, B is in boy, N is in Nancy, financial.com. And on there is you can just check us out. I've got YouTube videos. I got over 200 YouTube videos teaching agents life insurance and how to sell and how to build an actual agency themselves. And if you just look up my name, last name is spelled A, B as in boy, U, Y-U, A-N as in Nancy, first name's Alex. You just look that up on YouTube and you'll find all kinds of stuff about me. But that's really it. And we have a career webinar on our website, and we're always looking to hire people no matter where they are located, because we have a lead program where people can actually not have to, certainly after you talk to your family and friends, you run out of people to talk to. Well, the unique thing about what we do is we have a direct mail lead program where people send in letters seeking advice from people like us to counsel them on mortgage protection, life insurance, final expense insurance, whatever the case may be, retirement planning. And our agents go out there and sit down with these folks and take care of them. And that's what I love about our business, is we're able to really get people on track and help them become productive right away for their families after they've taken care of all their family and friends.
That is amazing. Your life has been an amazing story, and certainly God has. Yes, I was going to say, you are blessed.
Yes, amen.
You're an inspiration to a lot of people.
Yeah,
he inspired us. That's why he's on the show. I listened to this man and I said, I got to get him on the show. He is an amazing wellspring of wisdom and knowledge and information. And the bottom line for those of you that are tuning in, again, as always, if you do not have insurance, who do you think's going to bury you? Okay, step one. Number two, if you are married or unmarried and have children, again, life insurance is not optional. There are venues. Work with insurance brokers that will give you options and opportunities. If you are an agent that is tired of being broke because you can't generate leads, this is another venue for you to consider. Reach out to Alex. He can help. And finally, as always, I hope all of you have gained information and knowledge to begin to redirect your thinking and your financial resources to take care of those children, grandchildren, and people that are near and dear to you. Life insurance is a powerful vehicle, and as far as I know, the only vehicle which guarantees that you will be paid out dollars, face amount. If you take out $100,000, you'll get $100,000 upon death. It's the only vehicle out here. It's called risk, and you should take advantage of it if you haven't already. I appreciate you listening in. Do you want to say, have a good day?
Have a good day, and thanks for watching.
God bless. You take care.